tallest wrestler in your company's history just wasn't impressive enough. Those who would watch Giant Gonzalez walk to the ring would probably think to themselves,
also, that outfit is just, like, god-awful.
that he was the most impressive wrestler of all time. And of course, that would all change as soon as the bell would ring, but at a standstill, he was a sight to behold, standing a legitimate 7 foot 7 inches tall per the Guinness Book of World Records.
What's up, everybody? Celtic Scarecrow here, back reacting to another video to get those 10s and 20 views. I was going to do a JD delay video. Forgot to turn on the desktop audio. Not rewatching that thing. Was going to do a Fumoko, 2 VTuber identical twin girls, and they're cute, adorable, syncing of timing, but I couldn't find a good compilation. Skip that. So we're going to do parts fun known. I am a massive wrestling fan. I do some watch-alongs for WWE pay-per-views as long as they're free on Peacock. So we're reacting to a video that they do. They do a lot of also GM mode competitors. I haven't watched it in a while, but this is the most egregious wrestling heights in WWE history. Yeah, like one of the funny ones I can remember is Big Cass. He's 7 feet tall. You can't teach that. When really he was like 6'9". It's like they made people like a lot taller than they really are because it sounds better. But then you stand them next to someone who's roughly the same height. Like, so let's get to it. It should be some interesting ones. I know their thumbnail had like Adam Cole, Rey Mysterio, Big Show.
Tall? Who could possibly know when everyone from the small to the tall has had a few additional inches tacked onto their profile? Or
no, that's happened in sports. I know a lot of athletes are like, I'm 6 foot tall. You're like, you're 5'10" at best.
Or, in the curious case of Christian Cage, a few inches taken off. Because how else would Vince McMahon continue his always bizarre hatred of Christian?
Oh yeah, that's weird. Christian is one of those guys who like was a great tag team specialist. Edge went solo, he went solo, never got pushed, went to TNA, became like the main guy in TNA for a while. Like he was like one of their top guys, went back to WWE, still never got pushed, left WWE, retired, came back, now he's in AEW work. He's like, hey look, I am a main eventer.
Then taking this 6 foot tall man and billing him as 5'10". Anyway, the heights of wrestlers have always been known to be a fallacy. But which wrestlers' build height strayed the furthest from the truth? Well, it's these ones. Let's get to it. And if you think anyone has been omitted from this list, then I'm sorry, but they just came up short. Sorry, that was...
I saw something is in auto mode again.
Low-hanging fruit.
Hornswoggle, very hilarious person.
The kind they could reach. I'm Tempest hailing from Parts Fun Known, and these are the most exaggerated wrestling...
Ooh, we're gonna take a screenshot. Ready, serious face. There we go. Screenshot. That's for the thumbnail.
...heights in WWE history. First up, Andre the Giant.
Ooh, he was Andre the Giant. I thought he was at least 7 foot tall. Or is he like something like he was only like 6'10", and so they built him at 7'2" or something like that? He did suffer from giantitis, which is a tumor in the brain that makes it so your body keeps producing the hormone that makes you consistently grow.
Really, where better to start than the 8th wonder of the world? Because only in the carnival world of wrestling would someone look at the shoot height of 7 foot and say that's not impressive enough.
Oh, thank you. I thought he was.
Andre was routinely billed as well above that, with Jesse Ventura going so far as to say that he was 7'5" during his match with Hulk Hogan at WrestleMania 3. But you know what? That is a show of exaggerated numbers, so at least he followed the theme.
Also, when you have someone named Andre the Giant, he's only like, say, like 4 or 5 inches taller than that person, he doesn't seem as giant as before. So I can understand that one. I understand that one.
Reality, Andre was several inches shorter than that. His 2020 biography, an excellent book by Bertrand Hebert and Pat LaPrade,
I want an Andre the Giant documentary movie, like how they did with the Von Erichs.
Includes a photo of Andre's passport, which lists his height at 7'1". Now, I don't know how you would get your height falsified on a passport, but this famous image has Andre stood next to NBA legend Wilt Chamberlain and Short King Arnold Schwarzenegger, and Andre is shorter than Chamberlain, who is 7'1". So maybe the passport industry is filled with just as many...
Yeah, but it's also that could be a lot of angles and hair and costume where they both are 7 foot and then just because their body frames could make it hard to tell.
Carnies as the wrestling business. Someone should probably look into that. And
no, but the basketball industry is definitely one where it's like they're like, well, maybe make them an inch shorter. A little confusing.
then we have Big Cass.
Hey, it's the one I called out. Who's 7 feet tall, and you can't teach that. I guarantee that line's about to come up.
I'll let you know right now, you're not likely to see many medium-sized wrestlers on this list. In case you have all
Really? I thought the couple of short guys would get a couple extra inches just to put it at the 6 foot mark.
forgotten the musings of lyrical stylist Enzo Amore, this right here is Big Cass, and he's 7 foot tall, and you can't teach that.
Called it. Also, a weird thing I saw on the internet, Velveteen Dream is trying to kind of like talk his way back into WWE. He was one of the people canceled during the Me Too movement. Unlike Skrull and Enzo, there is a lot more damning evidence against him. If you don't know, Enzo was accused of him and a band essaying a groupie who apparently did not want it, but it turns out that was completely false, and she made other false accusations. And Skrull read and sounds still like someone who regrets doing something when they were young and dumb. The issue with Skrull was her age, unless you live in the UK, which the incident took place, then it's just that morally ew, but still. But yeah, with Dream, yeah, he's trying to make a comeback, and he's taking the Enzo approach of, I'll just try to make enough noise that they'll want me back.
Although it seems you may be able to fudge that. In reality, Large Cassidy stands at 6'9", which, while nice, isn't 7 feet.
Which at the same time, with their gimmick, if he was 6'9", would have been a hilarious little
Cass admitted his height himself in a podcast interview with Stone Cold Steve Austin, and if you needed more proof than that, the former William Morrissey committed the cardinal sin of participating in real sports, and as such, his height can be found in college basketball records.
Also, those numbers are fudged. College basketball numbers will add, any high school to college sport will add a couple inches to a person's height. Because it makes it look better.
From his time at NYU. Maybe WWE felt the need to give Cass those extra 3 inches to justify calling him Big Cass, because otherwise he would have just been medium Colin Cassidy, and that doesn't quite have the same ring to it. And then there's Dean Malenko.
But 6'9" is the same height as the Undertaker. There's your issue. When you have other guys that he's the same height as. Now, here's a medium-sized guy. You look at him going, he's 7 feet tall. Taker's not listed at 7 feet tall. Kane's not listed at 7 feet tall. Oh, crap.
Alright, let's look at the opposite end of the spectrum now for a moment. For as much as height absolutely does not matter in daily life, allow me for a moment to tell
Tempest, how tall are you? Are you under 6 feet tall?
You that one of the pains of my life is being 5'9" 3/4.
I did not pre-watch this. I'm 6'4". Like, if really, like, reality, I'm probably 6'3" and like 7/8 or some bullshit thing like that. So it's just like, all right, give me that extra 1/8 type thing. But yeah, I'm 6'4", so.
Leading to both people who are 5'9" and 5'10" looking at me and saying, no you're not, whenever I try and say I'm the same height as them. It doesn't matter, but if you have ever felt the sting of a sweet
See, I can understand the joke of these two being twins. They're both bald, they both have beards.
summer rejection, you know the pain. So with that being said, when WWE tries to tell me that notably 5'6" Dean Malenko is actually 5'10", I start to develop a twitch. Of course, I love the work of Dean Malenko, and
God, he was so good in the ring. He's just so dry. Him and Lance Storm, years above where they were in that weird pocket of super realism, professional wrestling, and the Attitude Era, where it was just like they hit that part where it's like, and like modern day wrestling, where it's like, hey, that silent killer approach does work, Gunther, and they got slapped in the WWE's. You had to have it like oozing with super caliber charisma.
Often think about how awesome it would have been if his career had been a little longer and he'd been able to be a founding father of Ring of Honor, but come on now.
Yep, Ring of Honor would have been a great place for him.
This is like saying Pete is taller than me, and as you can see from this photo of us and honorary LIW member Stephen Strange, that would simply be ridiculous.
Tempest, you're clearly standing a couple steps in front to make you look a lot taller.
Next up, The Undertaker.
Yeah, like I think Taker is 6'9", same height as Cass. So what he said.
Back to the tall boys now. The Undertaker has always been a very weird case in the height and weight department, routinely billed at 299 pounds. Don't you
250 I can see. No way in hell he's almost 300 pounds.
dare say 300, or Dungeon Dice Morgan here will drag you to hell, and the hell is listening to his podcast, and billed at 6 foot 10 inches tall.
I actually don't mind Taker's podcast. It's very entertaining. Granted, I'm nitpicking the episodes because I think they're better with the other wrestlers on with them to help tell stories, but still.
WWE seemed content to keep Taker from passing the 7 foot threshold, something they would have no problem doing with other would-be giants to come. Taker's notoriously shitty WrestleMania 13 main event with Sid stands as solid evidence of the dead man's shoot height, as the 6'6" West Side Gun album cover man is just ever so slightly shorter than his opponent, putting Booger Red at 6 foot 7 inches tall.
6'8", 6'9". Realistically, the hair is so confusing to get height.
Of course, it also doesn't help that WWE just kept booking Taker against the tallest people in the company, maybe in an effort to make them seem taller than they were. And while I don't think this exposed Taker's heights by any means, it does make it all just a little bit more complicated. And then back to the...
Yeah, like I said, if you have someone who's listed at, I think, from high school or college, because Taker did play college basketball, as 6'9", and then you put him against other people who are taller, like, is he really 6'9"?
The other end of the spectrum with Rey Mysterio.
Oh, Ray has to be like 5'2". Like, if Ray's were 5'5", I'd be shocked.
WWE has always touted Rey Mysterio as the biggest little man, and after doing some research, I think even that can be called into question. This one is particularly strange, as Rey...
Hey, it's the Hammerstein Ball. God, WWE and AEW need to go back to some smaller venues.
Rey's lack of size has always been his greatest selling point as an underdog. In theory, you'd probably want to bill Rey as being as small as possible to make it an even greater feat when he wins, but that concept just doesn't compute in the head of Vince McMahon, whose 3 worst fears are small wrestlers, southerners, and being in any way a decent human being. Rey
probably why he hated AJ Styles.
Has always been billed in WWE as 5'6", but I've met Rey Mysterio.
Oh, bullshit.
And using this photo evidence, yeah, my guy is not 5'6". Rey has gone on record saying he is 5'4", and I'm certainly not going to call the greatest
Okay, I can see that.
modern luchador a liar, but I don't know, there's every chance he could be a bit shorter than that when you compare his height to other wrestlers and, well, the ring. And then we have Kane.
Stands Taker in the eye, so he should also be around 6'7", between that 6'7" to 6'9" range.
When That's Gotta Be Kane arrived on the scene in WWE in 1997, he stood toe-to-toe with his brother The Undertaker as commentary blared that Kane was even bigger than the dead man. This is the part where
maybe jacked-wise, yeah, but not height-wise.
Where I tell you that in reality, they're the same height, standing 6 foot 7 inches tall. But as Kane had to be billed as taller than his undead brochacho, Kane would routinely be announced as standing 7 feet tall.
Which, at the same time, if you're trying to get like him just look slightly bigger than Taker, you can make the trick with their boots. Taker wears flat boots. Kane wears something with a little bit of a lip to it. Guess what? Kane now looks taller.
The jump from 6 foot 7 to 7 foot is in fact larger than the jump from 6 foot 7 to 6 foot 10, so Kane gets 2 extra inches of exaggerated finger shaking. Kane wore special lifts in his boots to make the
call that
7 foot billing sound even remotely plausible, but as time went on and the need to be bigger than his brother became less of a factor, the lifts were removed and announcers phased out his height from his entrance. Come to think of it, as one of the last known
I can't think of the last time they actually mentioned Kane or Taker's height.
residents of parts unknown, Kane may have had more lives removed from his entrance over the years than anyone else. Next.
He's also now the mayor of Knoxville County, Tennessee. Super cool.
Stop. Adam Cole. Now,
Adam Cole's 5'10". I think they'd build him at 6 foot. This is one of those guys where Vince just looked down and went, you have everything I would want except you're short.
Oh, look, listen, the internet is a horrible place. Or maybe it's just Twitter. You can follow me over on the much better Blue Sky at
Yeah, bullshit on that. Blue Sky's better than Twitter. Holy crap, no. That is a cesspool of just the worst like-minded individuals. Granted, I'm not judging you for going over there trying to like build and whatnot, but heaven forbid you have a slightly right-leaning ideology and you are just kicked off.
Hey, it's Tempest, and you can find out for yourself if it's better over there. But I'm not going to be one of the dirtbags who dogpiles on Adam Cole because of his physical appearance. Cole is by all accounts one of the nicest people ever to pass through.
Also, Cole's in great shape. Granted, he should be more built like Finn Balor, being the height disparaging, but he's not like, well, me.
The wrestling business. With that being said, Adam Cole is probably the least 6 foot tall man to ever be billed at being 6 foot tall. I know everyone has seen the photo of Cole and Zack Sabre Jr., but come on.
Sabre Jr. is also like 6'4".
Man, these guys were billed as the same height. Again,
go back.
Sabre Jr., but come on, man. These guys were billed.
Okay, I'm not sure who the guy on the left is. I know you got Finn Balor, Zack Sabre Jr. I'm looking at Zack Sabre Jr. right now. Zack Sabre Jr. Wikipedia. I love when you click it, it's just, yeah, it says 6 foot, but 6'1" on this one. Yeah. But yeah, there's no way. Like, Sabre's a clear, like, shoulder, like, doing this to people slightly shorter than you is so easy.
Billed as the same height. Again, having been in the same room as the man, Cole is probably closer to 5'7" or 5'8", but that doesn't diminish his
I'd say 5'10".
talent whatsoever. I know that doesn't need to be said, but I don't know, I just didn't want to do this one. Love you, Chugs. Please don't rescind my Twitch sub for this. And then there's Giant.
No, I think Cole has always said he would rather come out at his actual height than that. Let's see. Adam Cole, baby. Yeah, it still says 6 foot. Calling you a liar, Chugs.
Giant Gonzalez. Again, it's as if having the shoot.
This dude was so bad, and all they had to do is just book him just to do simple things. It would have been
Tallest wrestler in your company's history just wasn't impressive enough. Those who would watch Giant Gonzalez walk to the ring would probably think to themselves.
Also, that outfit is just like god-awful.
That he was the most impressive wrestler of all time. And of course that would all change as soon as the bell would ring, but at a standstill, he was a sight to behold, standing a legitimate 7 foot 7 inches tall per the Guinness Book of World Records. Of course, all 91 of those shoot inches were not enough to satiate WWE's need for stretching the truth and build him at a ludicrous 8 feet tall.
Yeah, no, like, he's big enough as is, but phew.
I mean, when you're billing The Undertaker at 6'10" and Giant Gonzalez is legitimately a full foot taller than him, this is the kind of thing that needs to happen. But when does it ever stop? What would happen if a 7'10" wrestler had shown up? Then he'd have to be billed at 8'3". When do the lies stop? Please, WWE, lies hurt people.
Professional wrestling. They lie all the time.
They make baby Jesus cry. I don't know, this is what happens when I have to make myself care about Giant Gonzalez. I lose my mind a little bit. But while this list hasn't exactly been in order, the 5 extra inches of lies tacked onto Giant Gonzalez's name are in fact not the most in WWE history.
Really? Well, yes, number 1. All right, who are we guessing? Try to think of what big person you think they lied the most about. Oh, let's see. Not Drew McIntyre. Even though he's 6'6", I think they have him legitimately at 6'6". The Big Show. Big Show would be the only last real giant I think of.
That dubious distinction actually belongs to Zeus.
I forgot about Zeus. Who became a great actor.
Yeah, bet you didn't see that coming. For all the giants whose fake heights have been spoken into WWE folklore, actor Tiny Tom Lister got the
Yeah, and I also think he was a professional athlete, so his height should be listed a lot.
biggest bump. Better known to WWE fans as Zeus, and known to real nerds as the convict that threw the detonator out the window in The Dark Knight.
He also was, he wasn't the president in Idiocracy. But yeah, he was in a lot of good movies.
Lister wrestled a trilogy of matches in WWE when he and Hulk Hogan starred in No Holds Barred, and he was billed at 6 foot 11 inches tall. Now, Lister is a
Dude, he looks my height. He just looks my height from standing in the ring.
big guy. You can tell that because he was given the nickname Tiny. Haha, I bet he and his fat friend Slim and his bald friend Curly all got on real well. But he was not even close to being nearly 7 foot. In reality,
But I think he was roughly the same height as Hogan.
Zeus was 6'5", meaning WWE tacked a whole half a foot onto his build height. For reference, Zeus was shorter than Baron Corbin, and Corbin was never billed as being 7 foot tall, although I wouldn't put it past WWE to try.
That version of Corbin was so much better than this version of Corbin.
With everything they did to try and make Baron Corbin happen. And that's our list. Make sure, of course, that you like this video and subscribe.
Not a bad list. Not surprised the Canadian took a couple jabs at a Republican, Taker in his podcast. But good list is why I liked it. It is kind of straightforward. Yes, there are subtle jabs that people will make on parts fun known, but it is strange how much wrestling is lies, built on lies. But that's it. That's all I have. Go check out the main channel Tuesdays and Thursdays. I've been doing grading NFL team drafts by divisions. Go check out the gaming channel where I upload all my Twitch streams to there. Go check out Twitch where I play video games in VTube mode, so I don't need this bright ring light on me. But that's it. That's all I have. I'll see you weird people later.